of Britain representing Pakistan here, as well as his team Genesis Gaming, we have TeebuL.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing Team Mindfreak. It is Seither.
Oh, and unfortunately, I haven't quite had the time here to catch the VOD of what happened in the mainstream last night, so not entirely certain how TeebuL is going to play this out, but we saw, if my memory serves me correctly last night, from Seither, 3 games in a row of him going 3 racks against Ranger.
Yeah, much to our dismay. As you were saying, if you were not here yesterday, people, everyone watching, Seither did open up 3 racks every single game in his last TVP. But like, I still want to stand by the fact that, you know, he's not a one-trick pony. He doesn't have to 3 racks every single game. He just happened to have done that last series.
Yeah, for whatever bizarre reason. And it worked out for him once, but yeah, every single time when it didn't work out, well, his opponent Ranger was able to sort of outgrow him, and I do have to wonder if TeebuL was able to watch that series and, you know, glean a couple of tips of how he might want to play this out. Yeah. I guess the same could be said for Seither when, you know, the match against TeebuL and Piglet.
I mean, to be honest, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they were both watching. They had plenty of time to watch the VODs from last night, whether it's on the B stream or on the main stream. So I'm sure they were able to get a little bit of information about each other. And we'll see how things go here, as we did have a little bit of an SCV scout. We did confirm, or at least Seither confirmed, that a Zealot is coming across the map.
Yeah, and this can definitely do a lot to be annoying at the very least. You know, best case scenario, it'll delay that CC. Shouldn't get too much more damage beyond that, though.
Yeah, by the time it gets here, it looks like the bunker's still not done. Marines are going to tickle away at this, but again, the big question is, can this Zealot delay the CC?
It's going to try! But, yeah, TeebuL actually preoccupied a little bit. I guess he was, I keep forgetting that if we look at the minimap, we can actually see the players' POVs, but, yeah, I have to imagine that that's what was going on there. You know, TeebuL not quite target firing, looking back at his main base to throw down a robo first.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and to me, this tells me that TeebuL was in fact paying attention yesterday, because if Seither does open up with the 3 racks, which he isn't, by the way, I love it. But if he did, I imagine TeebuL is looking to go straight into a Robotics Bay from here.
The adaptations that are being made.
Yeah.
You'll love to see it. There's that Robo Bay. Only thing that will make this better is if you threw down a starport before throwing down the Robo.
Well, you want some Butterways play coming out from TeebuL?
Hashtag new meta, you know?
Not like this. So for those wondering what TeebuL is doing, going straight into a Robotics Bay, it is great against 3 racks. It can really hard counter it because of how quickly you get your Colossus out. But as we can see, it's a 1-1-1.
Yeah, it's a very different opening coming out from Seither. He is... Oh, no. Okay, it's not quite... He's been able to remedy his supply block for a little bit, but yeah, delaying that medevac for quite some time, that can be absolutely brutal.
What a Colossus drop made.
There we go.
Oh my god. The only player I've seen consistently do this is, like, I've seen Probe do this a couple of times, and, like, Nina, and that's it. But we're committed here. We have War Prison speed on the way as well for the Colossus drop. But again, little does TeebuL know that a Widowmine drop is coming across the map. Oh, but, sorry, this was scouted by the Observer.
So he knows he's going to have to keep a couple of Stalkers back home to, you know, be able to deal with this, and if need be, have an Observer ready. I was just going to go into a whole spiel, right, about how, oh, you know, Disruptor drops, they're pretty effective. Colossus is generally more of a defensive unit, you know, against specifically 3 racks, and then TeebuL comes out and gets Warp Prism speed and decides to go for the Colossus drop right there. So thanks, man.
Let's go. As this is a treat. You don't often see this in pro play, as this is going across the map. Now, we do have a Raven on the way, and a Raven is a great way to really shut this down, to disable the War Prism and kind of just leave the Colossus a little bit idle. So we have options, but the Raven is still not done. Tank will come out just in time, but the Colossus is here.
Yeah, even then, the Raven's going to have to take a little bit of time to gain that energy. Best case scenario can, you know, sort of throw down some
Oh,
Auto charts, if need be. One Widowmine will get a couple of good shots. It's pretty good, but the Colossus, man, it is getting both SCVs and Marines. Immediately once the tank sieges up, TeebuL says, all right, I don't want to take that risk. I'm going to lift up and, potentially go for round 2. There is a Viking being produced right now for Seither, so not a big fan of this Warp Prism being kept idle here, but this does give him the opportunity to do some more harass.
yeah, exactly. He can just dive on top of that tank. There we go. He's going to be able to shell away at it.
What is that friendly fire? Oh, no, that was a misclick. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Was shelling away at the gas for a little bit there. But again, at least Seither didn't really lose too much here. This will be keeping him contained, but at least, again, he's well aware of what he's up against. Extended the Valencia's on the way, a couple more Colossus. But with the Raven banking up that energy, like, I'm kind of liking Seither. He hasn't taken too much damage, but maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah, successive E's like that is definitely quite a bit. Ooh, brilliant disable coming out here from Seither. Forces a recall out of this. Is that even going to be enough? Just barely enough. One more shot from the Viking would have killed both the Warp Prism and the Colossus. And just like that, TeebuL, he's set up to transition into the mid game just like this. He has his Colossus here to defend. He's getting sent Thermal Lance. Gateways are being thrown down. But I'm definitely with you here, Light. I think Seither has been building up a very, very powerful and potent push that should be hitting pretty soon. I mean, +1 is already finished. Stim is very, very close to finishing up.
Yeah, it's going to be all about this push that we're kind of building up towards. Thankfully, we do have a shield battery on the way for TeebuL. I'm sure we're going to have overcharge available as well. 2 Colossus, extended thermal lance, 3 Colossus even. So there's going to be a lot of firepower. Is there going to be enough buffer for the Colossus? That's kind of the big question. Is there going to be enough to really protect them from the buyer and prevent the buyer from just diving on top of them? We'll see, as again the upgrades are all on the way here for Seither. Is able to take down the observer, so now TeebuL is a little bit in the dark.
Yeah, just a little bit. Seither will decide to go down right the middle of this map, then he'd be completely blind.
Yeah, it's just, we're going to have a lot of tanks here. This is the 4th tank finishing up for Seither. So again, a lot of firepower with this army, but instead of pushing out with everything, he is, for the time being, going for a bit of a drop.
Yeah, potentially going for a multi-prong? See what he does with that main army over there. TeebuL, meanwhile, expanding, getting a 4th base.
Yeah, and now he's moving out into the middle of the map, which makes a lot of sense. Like, if Seither does push out, like, TeebuL needs to do everything he can to slow this down, force some sieges, and just like that, even kind of catches a tank here, or at least catches some Marauders.
Yeah, and when the armies are split up like this, I absolutely have to favor the Protoss. The Protoss player in the engagement! That Colossus is so close to dying, man!
At the same time, Warp Prism gets into the main base. Zealot's unload charge is done, and a lot of SCVs are falling. At the same time, don't forget though, Seither is going for that double drop.
Yeah, and there's really no defenses at home right now. TeebuL's entire army is across the map. The Disruptor is here, and it is looking pretty exposed, but actually the recall is going to be able to save a lot of these probes. Seither, he's going to get a little bit of damage. He gets some scouting, I guess, on the tech choices going on here. Oh, but the target fire coming out from our Terran player.
Exactly. The target fire was insane. 15 probes go down. At the same time, so does the Warp Prism. Was left a little bit idle here across the map. Seither cleans up everything at home. And in the end, they kind of go blow for blow here. 17 probes go down. In total, 23 SCVs have gone down.
Yeah, and while I do definitely think that this is something that TeebuL will be able to recover from a little bit easier than Seither, I'm just looking at the armies right now. There is an opportunity for Seither to maybe pounce on what TeebuL's got.
Yeah, what's important is the death of that Disruptor, right? So we have very limited splash damage here available for TeebuL. We have the first, or I guess now second Disruptor coming out to join the army, but again, only one for the time being, and we still have all tanks remaining here for Seither.
Yeah, I guess the big problem with Seither's army, with Seither's composition right now, is that he just doesn't really have that much vision on the map. He isn't aware of what TeebuL's army is looking like right now. Now he gets a couple of eyes on the top of it, but he also realizes that it's going to be difficult for him to try to get a surround on that.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like Seither wants to take a more defensive approach here. What's interesting is that he has not stopped tank production at all. He's got so many already. He's up to 7, about to have 8. So pushing into this is kind of what Seither wants. Seither wants TeebuL to push into him, but TeebuL instead is teching up. You know, we have a second Robo on the way for double disruptor production. We have a Dark Shrine on the way as well to make Seither's life like hell whenever he tries to expand and take a 4th base.
Yeah, I definitely like this call from Seither to be turtling up a little bit like this, but you really do need to provide some kind of a bait, right? Some kind of incentive to have TeebuL push into this tank line. And right now, that just doesn't really exist.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, eventually, I'm sure the tank line will come to TeebuL. Go ahead.
Here's a question. What is TeebuL building at the bottom right-hand corner of the map? Is that a ninja? That's a ninja. Why is he building a ninja? He doesn't need to build a ninja.
You're not wrong. He doesn't. He could just expand normally, but why not? Yeah, just get a ninja.
I swear I thought he was like proxying a Dark Shrine or something this late in the game. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good move. You know, you don't want to get scanned in your main base, have all your tech in there, but yeah, no, he's just getting a ninja base.
Why not? You know, you have the map control anyway. Just expand, just take every base. But here we go, Seither. He is close to max out. He is pushing out across the map. We do have again a number of tanks here, 9 tanks in total. Will they all be in position though? Like, how is the siege line going to look like? That's what it's all going to come down to here for Seither.
Really is. You know, it's always a massive risk going this tank intensive in TVP, not only because of the direct counters that Protoss has available to tanks, but also just because you definitely want more bio when facing an army like this, and tanks at a certain point will have diminishing returns. Good disable on one of the Colossus. That really takes out a lot of splash damage, actually. TeebuL doesn't have that many of them.
Yeah, surprisingly, we still only have 1 disruptor, which I'm shocked by. He had double robot production, and we still only have 1 disruptor. I think maybe TeebuL was a little bit too concerned with getting a ninja instead of supplementing his army. But yo, some of the tanks get caught on siege, but oh, they cover each other. Oh my god.
The spell casting from Seither has been absolutely sublime. Brilliant EMPs, and then following up with an anti-armor missile that covers just about the entire army. And TeebuL is having a lot of trouble trying to converge on top of this army. He is sending out a run-by of Zealots to try to disrupt the economy of Seither even further, but at this point I think he's just poking the bear. Seither, he's concentrated entirely on killing the bases of TeebuL.
Yeah, well that's the thing, like TeebuL, he's zoned out. He just can't push in, period. Look at how many tanks there are. Oh my god, Seither just doesn't stop the tank production. There's no way to push in.
And yeah, it's so weird to be seeing a Terran player go this tank heavy while still technically playing bio.
He's got 11!
And it actually working out for him. Yeah, he's got 11 of them!
Oh my god, how do you push in? Another anti-armor missile blankets the entire army of TeebuL.
And the Colossus go down in the blink of an eye thanks to all of these Vikings. Vikings have the opportunity to land if need be. Disruptors trying to throw out a couple of pot shots, get whatever they can, but they only are able to take out a single tank. There's just no way TeebuL can move into this, can he?
Yeah, exactly. Zealots come in, but they just get annihilated by all of these tanks. Reinforcements also cover them from the back line. Meanwhile, TeebuL, sure, he gets his base up and running. He's actually going to go for another run-by. He's going for a base trade.
Wow. And again, I kind of think this is the right move. I'm not even convinced if TeebuL is... You know, even if TeebuL remaxes, I'm not sure if he can really surround that army, so he might as well. You can always recall back to the main base if he really needs to, but yeah, that's a pretty big risk right now.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going full base trade mode right now. We have very limited anti-air. Blink did just finish up. Yo, we just had a massive wave of DTs finish up and the disruptions go up.
Oh, 2 of them just take out over half of the tanks, and that was really the backbone of Seither's army. Once again, TeebuL has an opportunity, and, you know, because of his ninja base, you gotta favor him in the base trade even more, don't you?
Oh,
this was all planned out.
Oh,
intentional.
No. Oh, another Nova goes off in the middle of the main army. Another disruptor is waiting on the high ground as well. The Nova goes up. No! Seither's army is again slowly being whittled away. And what's important is that we have DTs. We only have 2 CCs remaining here, but of course they have to land to be able to provide vision to provide scans.
Seither's gonna try to land that CC in the ninja base, isn't he?
Oh my god, he may scout the ninja base with that CC. Meanwhile, Seither gets into the main base. He's going to be able to target down the disruptors, so he's going to be able to handle everything here in the main. But again, we have another ninja towards the top left.
Yeah, TeebuL definitely has a bank to work with, so yeah, he can afford to be throwing down these buildings kind of randomly as well. Honestly, at this point, I kind of feel like if TeebuL just builds a couple of DTs and sends them to the army, and Seither will have no choice but to GG out.
Yeah, 100%. It's one DT is all that TeebuL needs, and he has 16. He has 16 DTs, Yaku.
One is all he needs, and he can afford to do this 16 times over, I guess, is what we're trying to get at here. Of course, the orbital command is also getting dangerously
I
low
love this! We have an
down.
NG bay! Seither is building an NG bay in his main base. He does have enough minerals to make a missile turret.
Yeah. It's enough to make 3 of them, I think. One of this orbital command is going to go down. The other one being kept alive. So this actually gives Seither an opportunity to resume mining if need be. I did not even notice that Shadow Stride was finished up here for TeebuL. And one of the orbitals did land in an emergency to throw down that scan. So now there's detection here. Actually, there isn't.
Right now, there isn't. Right now is the prime opportunity for all these DTs to go up into the main base. But TeebuL, he doesn't know.
He just doesn't know.
He doesn't know. So we're in a really weird place, but of course TeebuL has a massive lead. Like, he's got 2 bases mining here, fully saturated. Looking at the vision of Seither, he has no idea. He has seen the top left, but he has no idea about the bottom right.
Yeah, right now Seither's, trying to kill all of these, and then ideally he's going to be lifting up his medevacs and going to the top.
He's got 40 minerals here in the main.
Yeah, he's gonna think that that's gonna be enough for him when we know that it's not. I guess he can mule, right?
Yeah, he can mule that 1 mineral patch and then maybe expand towards the natural base instead.
And that 1 mule is gonna diminish that mineral patch,
It will
on its own.
Oh god, we don't have a Raven here with the army. We do have some scans. We have like 2 scans available.
TeebuL's trying to set up a bit of an awkward surround, all things considered.
Oh god.
DPs get in, they blink on top of the army, they decimate it in the blink of an eye, and GG is called. TeebuL takes game number 1. I love what we just witnessed here. Like, I didn't think we would get a TVP between these 2 players that would just go into the ninjas, and to have that ninja base that we were saying at the time when we saw TeebuL take it, why is he getting a ninja base? He doesn't need to take a ninja base. It came into play. It actually came into play.
He knew, mate. He knew. What a madman. Crazy. GG. Well played. The ninja base was a big brain play. TeebuL was thinking ahead. And I really, really do like how he approached that once the army of Seither came across the map. With 11 tanks, we all knew, even TeebuL knew, he could not fight that straight up. So he's like, okay, I'll just go for a base trade. And that's the downside of this kind of composition of Seither, is that it is very immobile, and turning around and going back home is a difficult call to make.
It absolutely is. Based on some of the other moves that we were able to see from TeebuL here, and Seither as well, I guess, but especially TeebuL, he was doing his homework last night. He absolutely knew, okay, Seither, he's going to want to be aggressive in the early game. As long as I'm able to survive that, I can outgrow him pretty easily, and that was kind of his game plan after the initial Colossus drop got shut down.
Yeah, and I think that's important to note as well, is that this did start with a Colossus drop, like, which is crazy to think about. Like, just how this series opened up. Again, we were like, yo, this is so smart, especially against a 3-racks. It wasn't a 3-racks. Damage was being dealt back and forth between both players and their economies. And again, Seither's army looked terrifying, but he never got that big fight that he really wanted. Like, he wanted to fight the army of TeebuL, and he just never gave him that.
Yeah, which again, it's always a risk, trying to go for a tank-heavy composition like that in a TVP. We saw it almost work. It almost worked, but TeebuL in the end was able to kind of regain perspective and say, all right, I don't need to fight into that. I'm just gonna, round off my army, go for a base trade.
Yeah, yeah, and again, the Ninja base, the DTs, Shadow Stride as well, it all just kind of came into that. The fact that he was banking up Disruptors in his main base to just, again, slowly just chip away. I say chip away, just take massive chunks out of the army of Seither. Oh, God. Yeah, really well done there. Really well done.
Really was. And I have a very good feeling that this, just based on game number 1, this series is going to go to distance, man.
I hope so. I hope so. As the map has been chosen, we are going into one of the larger maps in the map pool. It is, of course, Glittering Ashes.
Indeed, we are. And we are going to be spawning in the bottom left-hand corner map. Spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a blue Protoss player currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 elimination match. I don't know how how much we can really hammer that in. He is going to be representing Genesis Gaming, playing for Pakistan from the land of the UK. We have TeebuL.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing Team Mindfreak, and one game away from being eliminated from DreamHack Oceania Valencia. It is Seither.
So, I have to worry a little bit right now, Light. Oh!
I'm worried too.
Alright, worries are gone. I was gonna say, Seither, definitely does have a little bit of a tendency to, if a macro game doesn't really work out for him, he will have a tendency to sort of slide back into some of the cheeses that he knows is more reliable. This is similar to that, but he is switching this up quite a bit, so still a very high possibility of this being a 3-Rax. It could just be a 2-Rax, but I really like the idea. I really like this idea from Seither that he is proxying at least one of the Raxes.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. Seither, he is really well known for proxying, especially like in an ace match scenario, just because it's unexpected. Speaking of proxying, TeebuL doing the same thing. Cybercore is about to finish up, mate. Let's go. Proxy versus proxy.
And we thought game number 1 was a little bit of a. I'm trying to be polite here. A little bit of a polite game, shall we say. This is not a Stargate. For anyone back at home, this is in fact a Twilight Council.
Man.
Are we gonna get a Dark Shrine as a follow-up? We have to watch it as a
It's gotta be a Dark Shrine as a follow-up. This is gonna get real wonky real quick, especially because this proxy is for Marauders. We do have the Tech Lab finishing up. There we go. Concussive Shell is on the way. Marauders are about to rock up and take down and depower everything. And it's gonna take a while for DGs. It takes a while for the Dark Shrine to finish up.
I just realized that it's one pylon powering the one gateway that TeebuL has right now. 2 Colossus? Did I say Colossus? I meant to say Marauders. 2 Marauders can absolutely chew through that. I think by the time this hits for Seither, he might be able to get 3 of them. He can just depower the production capabilities of TeebuL like that.
He's gotta go, mate. Even one Marauder right now would end the game. We would have to see like a recall back home. Meanwhile, TeebuL's in the dark. He has no idea. He has been locked out of the main base, so he doesn't know that there is a proxy out on the map. And the big thing that you're pointing out here is that the only production building right now is this one gateway. So without the gateway, we won't see any DTs, but we are seeing a proxy gateway here with the Dark Shrine, so he will still be able to warp in at least one. Unless he gets supply blocks.
Yeah, that will definitely help. Oh, true. Because you want to be as efficient as possible with this, dude.
Go, puppy, go! Oh my god. Meanwhile, across the map, the Zelda's finally been dealt with. The Adepts are being very annoying. It looks like Seither. Oh god! Lift the warp, puppy! Oh god, he lifts it up just in time, and the pylon is gonna go down!
Yeah, TeebuL now trying to make a couple of backup pylons, but
Warp gate!
Back home.
Warp gate!
Warp gate gets delayed for so long!
Target the pylons, puppy! Stop! Target the pylons! Target the pylons! The Marauders, please! They're focusing down the gateway right now. It looks like this pylon will finish. Warp gate will finish up here for TeebuL just barely.
By the way, they're not cancels from the side of TeebuL.
Yeah. A little bit of miscontrol there. Seither wasn't looking, so he wasted a little bit of DPS. Yo, with the bunker, he can just go in.
He can absolutely just go in, if things get dicey. 2 DTs making their way across the map right now, but there's nothing home to defend. And I think Seither should think this is kind of fishy. He doesn't see any. He doesn't see any warpins back home. he's got to be saving a scan right now.
I mean, we do have a full wall off, so we're gonna have a
Scan.
little bit of time, but it looks like, oh, he notices, he sees repair, Poppy, he repairs just in time.
And once again, he doesn't want to waste a scan right now, but it is available to him, so, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, oh man.
Right now, back at home, he just doesn't have the DPS, but 2 more Marines are about to pop out. Hopefully, yes, they do pop out on the right-hand side. He will have DPS here. There we go. There is the first scan.
But TeebuL just doesn't take the bait here.
Oh, defensive
DT over here. Yeah, and that was the only scan that Seither had, too! This is so hard to... What is going on, like?
Retreat to the bunker, Poppy! Meanwhile, okay, missile turret's on the way. We did have an Angie bait with the missile turret. It looks like Seither should be fine here at home. Can he repair in time? Looks like he will. The wall is indeed a wall, but at the same time...
Not quite in time.
Oh, no, not in time. He breaks in.
He breaks in, and I think there's a little bit of a position here that TeebuL can attack the mineral line where there won't be detection, but Seither is building the missile turret now. He's kind of leapfrogging the turrets, which is what you need to do in a scenario like this.
Mate, as all this is happening, oh god, the turret is not gonna finish. We have a ninja base, by the way, from TeebuL.
There's no mining.
Oh god.
So this DT should go down, but there are more DTs behind this. I love this region, like,
what?
I love these players.
What is that? Okay. We gotta calm down and take stock. TeebuL is far ahead in the workers. What's important is that his mineral line was not touched, and these DTs are still continuing to deal damage. But Seither does have a second CC. It's not an orbital yet, unfortunately. So he needs to try and prioritize
he doesn't have the resources to make it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's broke, mate. He's broke.
Yeah, and right now he has a call to make. Does he make more army? Does he make more workers? Or does he turn that into an orbital? He has to cut a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
And no matter what, it's gonna hurt him. It's, on him to decide what's gonna hurt the least.
Exactly. It's all hurting. We see a recall from the main base to the ninja. Let's go. TeebuL now on 2 base economy. What is happening? Charge is on the way, as well as a bit of a gateway explosion.
That gateway's actually gonna block the mining, isn't it? Of TeebuL.
Oh god.
I guess that's if he expands there. He doesn't have to expand that location.
He can't even throw down an Nexus here. I think the gateway.
Oh, he can't. Yeah.
Oh my god. But I think we both have to agree that right now TeebuL is looking primed right now to take this. Seither has to do something to somehow interrupt the economy of TeebuL. Unfortunately, he just doesn't know that there's a second base. He has no idea. He's scouting it right now with the racks, and for all he knows, he's up against 1 base versus 1 base.
Yeah, that's what he's really banking on right now. I think this might be a little bit of a tell, remaking that cyber core with these 2 gateways. That might be enough for Seither to kind of think, how do you have enough resources to sustain all of this? Plus you were making all of those CTs earlier on. These are gateways that weren't here when I came in. They're fresh. So what the hell's going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, the other important thing to note is that Seither knows that the Dark Shrine was proxied. He knows that it's somewhere. He hasn't found it yet. So I'm sure that's kind of in the back of his mind, and maybe he's going to be looking. There we go. The SCV is kind of scouring the edges of the map. Unfortunately, he's checking the wrong places.
Casually walking past an Archon like that. TeebuL takes note, and yeah, he's going to try to prevent all the scouting. And honestly, if he chases down this SCV at this location, for all Seither knows, it's like, oh, he's defending this place. This must be where the proxy's at.
Exactly. Ah, god, it looks like this else. Oh, but what's important, Charge has been revealed, so now Seither's fully aware of Charge and Archons being the tech of choice for TeebuL. Now, how does he respond? 2 tanks already. Not a bad, defensive setup here in the main base, but it's still the main. He needs to expand. He needs his natural. He needs SimCity. He needs so much. And, oh, he's scouting!
And he should see, yep, he'll see everything here. As long as Seither makes sure that he has detection here, there's no way TeebuL can break into him. There is a chance for him to recover. But at the same time, TeebuL also knows all this, so he himself... Yep, there we go. 3rd base on the way.
3rd base is on the way. Blink for DTs as well. And the thing is that TeebuL may just be able to end the game here. The Textron Siege! He's not ready!
He is not ready. This is a really good SimCity, though. All of the bio is able to, funnel all those charges into one position. He might lose an Archon!
Oh god, he's so close.
Oh! Not quite. That would have been a very big pick-off here for Seither.
Oh yeah, that would have been huge, but the Archon barely stays alive. TeebuL just compounding his economy here, just getting that another Nexus here up and running. And the thing that hurts most here for Seither that we haven't really touched on, every stim hurts. We don't have a starport, we don't have any medevacs. Like, these Marines, they're not getting any healthier.
They really aren't. They need to be put on diet or something.
Oh god. Meanwhile, TeebuL, like, the thing is that there's nothing pressuring him. Like, again, look at his worker
really
count.
isn't.
Like, if he wants to, we could just chill back, get a Robotic Spade, get some Colossus. Like, he doesn't have to force the issue.
Yeah, it's 46 probes versus 29, 28, 25, 23. It just keeps going down, man. These DTs. You can even kill the missile turret.
It's like,
yeah,
this is so unnecessary. Like, TeebuL, you didn't even need to do this, but now he just has an even larger.
He's already dead!
He's already dead. Oh. Not like this, puppy.
Yeah, 46 probes against 21 SUVs. Even with mules, that's a massive deficit. But the thing is, Seither doesn't want to throw down mules because he needs to save at least one scan at all times.
That's the thing, right? Like, the DTs force him not to mule. They force his economy to be even worse than it usually is. Meanwhile, War Prism looking to try and dive in again. Seither moves out of position with his Marines. Again, he has very limited vision. He sees nothing out on the map.
Nothing at all.
And
Robo Bay.
Yeah, I love what
TeebuL's
doing. Like, there's no rush, you know, just get a third base up and running, take your gases, tech up, you know, just refine your army. Oh, and Seither is going all in.
I mean, he kind of has to. He knows that he's not going to be able to recover. At this point, you know, might as well pull the boys, what little he has left. But even then, because of how spread out the bases are right now, it's going to be tough. If Seither hits one location, TeebuL gets a heads up, he's going to be able to reinforce another position.
Exactly. Meanwhile, here we go. The armies are now engaging. Tanks are on siege. It looks like he's going to be able to barely push on through. But no, oh my god, the Gateway army still just mows down all these Marines.
Yeah, the Immortals aren't able to do as much. GG is called. TeebuL will be taking that series 2-0 and advancing to the decider match of Group B.